We are live.
Good morning.
Yes. Raining like cats and dogs here in Los
It
Angeles.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's raining bad.
I gotta bail early and jump into the traffic.
Yeah, I know. Well, there could not be traffic. When it rains
True.
here, it's always iffy if there's traffic. People don't like to go out in the rain.
It's an adventure.
Yes. But I might go out. I might not go out. I'm preparing myself for the auction Saturday, but I think I already have enough stuff. If anyone's free later today, probably in the afternoon, I'm going to do a quick live stream of preview of what's available for the auction. So that's what's going to happen then. Good stuff.
When's the auction? Saturday?
Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific. So that's when that's happening. It'll be fun. A lot of fun to be had. So cleaning records, that's and grading them and pricing them. So
And
what's been
flattening
going
them.
on? What's been going on, Jim?
Well, I'm messing around. In the last 2 days, I put in 3 different pairs of speakers. And one of them I injured my pinky moving it.
Why are you not happy with the speakers?
I am happy, but I don't know. So I have a very small room, and I'm trying to make it work with 10-inch woofers and subwoofers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. But then I have a pair of Harbeth P3D, whatever it is, the mini version of what Rachel has.
Yes.
The mini monitors, and I've got them on some decent stands, and they sound so good. There's no bass, but they sound so good.
Okay.
So trying to come to a place in my heart where I can be happy with.
Well, the big ones you have are the best sounding ones I've heard.
That's only because you want the little ones. No, the super big ones probably are. Yeah, they probably are. But they have so much bass. They really rattle the floor.
Sound like you have a real system. That's what they sound like to me. So
sometimes to me, it sounds like it's too much.
What
the physics? Yeah, the big speakers, the 10.
Yeah, but here's what you do: you sell the big speakers, and then you go, "I wish I didn't sell the big speakers."
Yeah, then I'll be whining about that on some freaking show.
Right. You're never satisfied.
No, I'm not. And that's the fun part for me. That's the neurotic part.
It's like aggravation, really. Hey, I picked this up the other day. I don't know how many people are going to care. This is like an early ECM record. This is are they all Swedish? I know everyone knows Jan Garabak. This record's fucking awesome. This is like, if you were to pick this is like rock. This record's almost rock without being fusion. This is really good. I don't know how easy it is. I have to. There was another one I picked up. I have to clean this one and listen. But this one's really good. That's a kick-ass record right there. Along with it, I picked up. Man, I can't read any of this. I can't read this Breakfast King of Loyola, Paul. I can't read any of these names. So, hey, look, I love these stickers that people made. Well, I'm not going to write on my cover. I'm just going to put a sticker. The Groove Merchant. John Howard. This is from the collection of the Groove Merchant, John Howard. So, there you go with that.
Very cool.
Yes.
So, Big Ian. I do mess around with subwoofers, but my Legacy Classics have built-in subs, 10-inch subwoofers, one firing front, one firing in the back. And when I'm not using those, sometimes I use a Kef There's that little Kef thing that fires in 2 directions. It's pretty good. But
Hey,
and Chauncey, I am totally ignoring you.
you know, can anyone let me know if they ever find Vinyl Piper's comments humorous? Is that a thing? Hey, there's a brouhaha building. It's not brouhaha. Maybe I'm making it about this record. They quietly announced that this is being reissued.
Very nice.
In mysterious terminology, but I think Westman did a quick live stream yesterday where he clarified this was digitally recorded and transferred to tape, and I think the mastering was done by Robert Ludwig. His name's not in the his initials are not in the dead wax on this. This is an OG copy, a US copy. So I have it, but the price on the reissue is only $24 to pre-order it. So this is a kick-ass record.
It's a great record.
Yeah. And here's another one I found. This one the other day. The Paris Reunion Band is I think there's 2 or 3 records of the Paris Reunion Band. I think the other ones are live recordings. This is a studio recording, and it came out in the US on Gazelle. I might have another Gazelle label record, but look at the lineup on that. That's like an amazing lineup. And they're just basically playing straight ahead, kind of big band stylish jazz. It's really good. Whenever I see Nathan Davis on a record, I grab it, but all these other guys, I would have grabbed it anyway. So that's a good record.
Are these OG Tracy Chapmans going for a lot of money?
Well, they fluctuated. They would fluctuate between $30 and $100.
Okay.
I would imagine they're probably a solid $50 to $70, maybe $80.
I paid $25 in 2019.
Yeah, I probably paid $30 for mine. I've had 4 different copies of it, so this is the best I could accrued to. I don't know where he is. I don't. I'm not the sole information person for Fluffy. You know, he has social media. You could reach out to him in other ways. I don't know. Fluffy, if you're want to be on camera, send me something and I'll send you a link.
So Rachel did a Patreon thing last night.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It was good. It was very interesting. She apparently is going to do a Patreon only show on in the afternoons, like 4 in the afternoon, 2 hours, Tuesday and I think Friday or something.
Well, until that changes.
Yeah, until that changes, and then
yeah, it'll change.
Yeah, but whatever. It's interesting that.
Okay, so let me address a concern here by this person. If I had the want or the ability to kidnap someone and hold them, it wouldn't be Fluffy. He would be way down the list. So
Fluffy's on the list, but he's on the B list. He's on the B
your
list.
concerns that I have something to do with him disappearing, I don't even have a want for it. There's so many other people. All right, so I suggest if you want to keep up on the latest going-ons with Rachel, sign up for her Patreon, and you can participate. Yeah. Well, now what? So there was no learning news from the Patreon.
No what news?
Did you learn anything?
Yeah, that she did it. She stopped of her own free will. She got a little frustrated. It wasn't like YouTube shut her down suddenly, like some
like all the haters claim they had something to do with it.
Here's what happened. I can tell this. So Rachel had Patreons. And after she ended the show, they didn't stop. Some of them, many of them, half of them, continued to pay her. And then at one point, her Patreon, she wasn't even doing anything, and her Patreon went up. So she was getting new Patreons and not doing anything. So she decided, you know what, I'm going to try a Patreon only show. And I think that's a good idea for now, until she changes her mind. But her Patreon was growing even though she wasn't doing anything. So she said, screw it. Let's. And last night's show was unbelievable because, first of all, I had no idea that she could juggle chainsaws live.
No, she was juggling chainsaws on her Patreon.
No.
Then why are you saying
there, you know what? There should have been a little bit more entertainment, but this is only the first. I don't know. Whatever.
How many people were there watching?
50 or 60.
All right. Well, here's the deal. This stream's not to talk about what went on. If you want to hook up with Rachel, she's doing Patreons now. Go sign up for her Patreon.
Go look at her Patreon.
And as I say to anyone here who would like to come up, please contact me privately and I'll send you a link. Maybe, okay, I'm turning this around. Hey, and I'm reporting this. Beep, 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 breaking news. Loki has something to do with Fluffy's disappearance. There you go, everyone.
Ooh. Jim is trying to humor and
yeah, I mean,
I'm failing miserably.
He doesn't read the room. I swear to God, people are so dumb.
You know who is?
Yeah,
really dumb, man.
I know. I have to communicate with someone who doesn't know how to work internet.
Right. The whole YouTube's. How many vinyls did you pick up?
Me? I didn't go out yesterday. The day before, I picked up the ones I just showed. Maybe I'll grab a stack during the stream and show some of the ones I'm going to auction off. But I picked up some good stuff. I picked this up on Saturday. This is an OG Billy Harper quintet in Europe. Picked that up. I have the reissue that came out recently. That it's actually really good, but I had an opportunity to pick that up, so I have that. There you go. What else do I got? I picked up this Cure record that was severely warped, and the flattener flattened it pretty good. There's still a little bit of a lilt, but it wasn't even really able to play. But this plays excellent. This is such a good record. And I don't know, Boys Don't Cry, The Cure. But can someone, this is a US, I think it's a second or third pressing before I went to Elektra on the PVC label in the US. Someone clarify that for me, please. It would be helpful to me. So,
how do we arrange a hostage swap? Loki's got Fluffy.
Yeah, I think Loki sent a ticket to Fluffy to come to Kerblapistan, and he has him hostage. That's what I'm going with. I'm counteracting the ridiculous narrative that you're creating. And I do have a good stack of non-jazz records, so I'll see if I'll put that together for the little video I'm going to do. So.
Flattened it well. So I think the flattener, I mean, if we get a record that hardly plays and get it to where it plays, that's
I've already done that 3 times. I've flattened 3 severely warped records. But it's this is a German flattener. In fact, okay, I'm going to create controversy.
Uh-oh.
Here, where's the manual? The manual's somewhere around here. Okay, here's the deal with this. It's a German flattener called ATF. What is it? Is that what the name
AFI?
of it? AFI?
AF, yeah, something like that.
Okay, so this flattener, here it is. The Flat Duo, it supposedly does 2 records at once. So far, in my experience, it doesn't do 2 records at once well. It doesn't.
Just one better.
Yeah,
Works
so
better.
basically, let's see if there's a picture in here that will show. And this manual is horrible. It's a horribly written manual. It's very confusing.
That's because you don't speak German.
Yeah, this whole number thing, and then you go looking for the numbers that are not highlighted here. But basically, what you have is at the bottom, you can put a record. Then there's another metal plate, and you put another record, and you make a little Oreo with the records. There are 3 standard settings that are useless. None of them do any kind of good job. So you have to play around with it. They did send me, I reached out to the company, and they did send me a list of tips. And if you have a severely warped record, and basically what this flattener does, because I've never used any other flattener, is it warms up to the temperature you want it to be baking at for a small period of time, and then it cools off. What this manual doesn't tell you is, and then they call it, their terminology is holding time, which is a weird terminology. In fact, their standard settings are, he's going to ruin my whole thing. Their standard settings are standard, which warms up to 131 or something for 30 minutes and then cools down. Then they have a relaxed feature for the newbie, which heats it up to 125 for an hour. It cools down. Now it does beep off, but you can change the settings.
Pardon me? What did you just? It does what?
It beeps. It lets you know it's done when it hits around 89 degrees or 90 degrees, which seems too warm to be handling the record, right? So I let it cool down to around 80 something, which takes another hour or more to cool down. So they don't even, in this manual, they don't even give you a time frame of proper handling of the record.
I'm going to take the relax setting, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
But
okay, can I really address
Mazzy's doing the Lamaze method of participating in
No, sorry, I was watching. I didn't see a link, and I was watching the In-Groove Thursday new releases, and I just didn't see anything.
He did make a funny joke during it. Who? Go watch the In-Groove at the beginning. He makes a funny joke.
Well, I watched it. I don't remember. So what did it is? Okay, well,
he alludes.
Oh, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
I did see that. Okay, right.
Okay. So, and I made a comment.
I didn't see that.
Let me just finish the record flattener thing. So it has a digital readout where you can manipulate every aspect of what it does. You can manipulate the temperature. You can manipulate the time. You can manipulate the fan. It has a fan.
You manipulate everyone anyway.
Yes. Mazzy, you will now pee your pants. So, but the record, you have to play around with it, and it doesn't do 2 records well. I've tried it at different things. I've gotten, if it's a severely warped record, it seems it needs a minimum holding time of 90 minutes. 90 minutes to hold. And you should clean the records. I haven't figured if it creates some sound issues. So far, the records don't sound bad. There might be some slight noise, but that might have already been in the record. The pure record plays fine. Most of the records that I've tried, lip warps seem to be, I was always under the understanding you couldn't flatten out a lip warp. Well, it does deal with the lip warps in a positive way, I think.
I'm going to agree here.
Just concern real quick, and then
wait. Before you guys chime in, here's the controversy. So Michael Fremer, apparently he got a free one of these, and he did a video. And it seems very iffy to me, the video he did. He took a severely warped record, and I'll try and show you a video from my phone that I shot of the results I had with a warped record. But he took a severely warped record, put it in by itself as one, under one of the standard settings, took it out completely flat. I find that very hard to believe.
I did watch that video, and what I was going to say is the one thing I will agree, or just not agree, it's not the wrong word, align with him. He said he gets very few warp records. I get hardly any warp records. I think I got a Marianne Faithful last week that was warped. First one I remember getting in.
Well, I got
4 or 5 years.
Another warp record. I get very few warp.
I got 2 warped records this week.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I just
the Coltrane from the Verve Record Club and the Sun Ra reissue. They were both warped.
Yeah.
And
no, I know it happened.
I rarely get a warped record, but when I do, it bugs the shit out of me, and I want it flattened. Now, Loki said that flattening records distorts the grooves. Apparently, Loki, there is a theory that this plastic that they make records out of has a memory, and it'll snap. It'll go back to its original shape, and it won't do it in a way that you can hear it.
Look, we don't have to deal with theories. So far, I have flattened 20 records. Other than the records having wear and what this new term I've heard, leaching, with those is what I would call paper burn. It has not affected the sound of the records. The records sound perfectly fine that I've flattened.
You absolutely have to clean the record before you flatten it, though.
Yeah, you should clean it. But I mean, here's the person who has the most experience. This dude right here. Here's the dude. This dude has the most experience out of anyone I know flattening records. On average, he has flattened at least 10 records for me. And he's had to put it through a lot of times they do say in their thing that you might have to try it at least 3 separate times to get it to a good flattened state, or the best it could be.
I can't be bothered.
but again, hold on, Mazzy. You think about this, but
if you have a rare record, yeah.
No. This is everyone has something that they gravitate to in this hobby, right? Me, I like going out and digging for records. That's my favorite part about it. But Dr. Robert comes in, and he loves to talk about how he likes repairing the covers.
Yeah.
So there's aspects to this hobby that people like. And if you I
like listening to the music. That's sort of a shock. I noticed.
Right.
That sounds very.
Delphina might start a trend if she takes you to lunch and trade for fixing one of her records. Maybe you can have a bunch of lunches set up for people who want to get their records.
Actually, it's not hard to hang out with Delphina. You go, you want to hang out? And she'll go, yes. Or she'll say no.
The cool thing about a record flattener,
I don't have to flatten record.
It's much more entertaining than it was when it was work.
Well, okay. Let's go to another aspect of what Jim likes, the equipment aspect. What did you do all day yesterday? Swap out speakers. Did you have a good time doing that, Jim?
It was absolutely. It was thrilling. It was thrilling. It was. You know what I did? I listened to. I'm an idiot, and I didn't make a movie out of it. I listened to 3 different versions of the very first.
Is that a Chekhov play? Is that a Chekhov play? Or who wrote The Idiot? Dostoevsky? Who wrote The Idiot?
Here's what I listened to. I listened to this. This is a Chad.
I hear that's a good record.
I listened to this. This is Japanese.
Oh, we're back to the Doors. Okay.
Yeah, and I listened to. I have a original mono. And I listened to all 3 of them on 3 different.
And which did you like best?
Well, I like the Harbeth speakers the best, even though they don't have bass. And honestly, I guess I like the Chad the best. This is not.
I like stereo. I like stereo best.
Okay, can you see right behind over Jim's shoulder? Yeah. He has the teeny tiny little Harbeth set up right now.
Yeah,
and the big ones are in the corner like they did something bad.
Yeah.
Now you're saying you're having a hard decision between the teeny tiny ones and the big ones.
Correct.
Why?
The teeny tiny ones, first of all, they sound, everything about them is great except for they're small. The when you're in a small
What if
room,
someone said that about you? Would you be upset?
Actually, that's what I tell people about him.
It's reality, it's physics. My room is 10 feet wide. It's not that wide. And so if you overload it with bass, it just fucks up. And those little speakers, the music is just right at you. And you can, there's like space between the instruments. It's in a way, it fills the room better.
So do they have enough bass? Do they have enough bass?
If you're a bass maniac, no. But on
would you add a subwoofer? Would you add a subwoofer?
I would add a subwoofer, and that's my next move is to.
Okay. People are saying good morning, so I just want to acknowledge.
Good morning, everyone. David, I haven't seen David in a while. Good morning, David. Nice to see you.
David, if you want to come up and spread your joy into the world, let me know.
Steve Guttenberg just did a review of a speaker this size by Falcon, I think. They make this speaker too. So it's the same idea of a little teeny tiny 5-inch speaker with a tweeter. That's it.
Thanks, Jim, for sending me the link after Rob did it. But I didn't see it in the normal course of.
I'm fast.
You are very good. I appreciate that. I don't know if anyone cares. I saw the Led Zeppelin movie last night, Becoming Led Zeppelin.
And
yeah, you participated in piracy.
No, I just at the very end, I turned it on when the credits were going. I saw it IMAX. I had a seat in IMAX. I really liked it, and I like the approach that it's literally the title totally makes sense once you know it. Becoming Led Zeppelin. It's about them leading up and getting famous that first year. So they only cover the first 2 albums, which is good. I'm tired of these things. They have to go through every album and everything that happens and every tour, and then they don't even mention Bonham's death because it doesn't really go there. It goes, and there's things that I remember, but I had forgotten. Like I knew that Led Zeppelin got more popular, huge in America a year before the UK, kind of a year before, and because of their touring, their constant touring. And he made it a point where he really like put a marker on the show at the Fillmore West. And I didn't see that show. I didn't see them until 73, maybe. I don't know, 72, 73. But that's a pivotal point. And it's so funny because I'm looking at it. I think it's Taj Mahal opening up, Led Zeppelin are the center, but I thought it was hysterical because the headliner was Country Joe and the Fish. Now, as much as I love Country Joe and the Fish, they're like a psychedelic jug band. Can you imagine going on to Country and the Fish after Led Zeppelin? Right?
Well, here's a question: did they talk about the Robert Ludwig pressing?
No. It doesn't get, and what's great about it, you don't have these talking heads of Dave Grohl or Wayne Shorter or all these people that don't need, or Bono. It's just the 4 of them. Obviously, the Bonham is from one interview, so it's audio only,
right.
But it fits. But it's really endearing. Occasionally they're watching or listening. They're listening to the interview. Seemingly for the first time, they discover this interview of Bonham, and they're reacting to it, or they're looking at footage that they haven't seen before. Now, I'm not going to get in the weeds. I'm going to make a video. I'm not going to get in the weeds or about, we've seen this footage before. I like when a documentary does it as if you don't know the band. Now, I know the band, but I don't know all the details like a lot of these Led Zeppelin freaks. So, like Jim, I grew up with this music. I probably bought every Led Zeppelin album the week they came out, but they're not even one of my top 10 favorite bands, but I still appreciate them and what they did. And it was really interesting. And I found that Robert Plant, he was almost like every band he was in was failing, and he seemed a little endearing. I've never really seen him talk like that. The other, obviously, the bass player and Jimmy Page were so self-assured. They were successful studio musicians, and it's interesting seeing the difference of the two, where Plant was just, his bands were playing and they weren't really getting anywhere.
Well, so what's your review?
I loved it. I'm gonna do a video, but I'm gonna do a video talking because they talk about records that led up to it. You hear their whole lives as children and getting into music. Some people may not like that, but it's not just a concert film, which is great. There's a lot of footage, and there's footage with studio versions or live versions over it because some of the footage I think was silent. So some people may quibble about that. But
So is it
it's a segment of their.
It's not all
it's great.
original footage, right?
I don't know what's been seen before. I'm not one of those like knows every.
Is Vance around? I know he's seen it. Vance saw it 3 times already.
Times. Yeah, well, he must like it then.
Hey, by the way, Bill Codwell, I saw that you mentioned that IMAX is a full immersive experience.
Yeah,
there are several other versions of immersive theater, movie theaters. My favorite that blows away IMAX is Dolby Digital. If you ever get to see a movie in Dolby Digital, I think the Led Zeppelin movie is exclusive to IMAX theaters. And actually, I think there are 5 different versions of IMAX theaters, people.
yeah, they're not.
There's not the true original IMAX is there not that many of them are the ones that use film. They have a film projector that show the original IMAX.
San Francisco has one, and
most of them are at like
science centers.
Science centers, like here in
the
LA.
Science Center here has one. I've never been to. The one I went to is not
those. So those are the original IMAX,
right.
And then then the various degrees of IMAX have screen size, but the true original IMAX shows the film on the original. I forget what the aspect ratio is, how big it is. That's true IMAX. But then there's 4 other ones, and it's a mystery. How, to me, there's digital IMAX, which is different. There's all different. They've resized theaters and multiplexes that weren't doing well into sort of being IMAX. So, but the Dolby Digital, I think, is exclusively at AMC theaters. That by far is the best theater experience I've ever had seeing a film. So that's all.
Anyway, so I recommend it. It's good. I'm gonna do something, but also talk about the music they played on and lead up. I'll do something interesting, hopefully. Well, interesting to me. We'll see. But I am not even though I grew up and listened to all their records and I don't know their whole history and their whole. Like I know the Beatles or Dylan or something. So,
well, I mean, did they start off with the Yardbirds and all that nonsense?
Oh, they don't start off with that. That's a part of it. But they literally talk about them getting into music as children and their families and where they grew up, the bands they were listening to, their influences, everything from Little Richard to Lonnie Donegan's, the Scuffle stuff. And I know all about that. See, to me, there was a segment with talking about Donovan records he was on, and Mickey Most producing Donovan. And they did mention the thing where, I mean, you start looking at this and you think that Robert Plant is one of those guys who's the luckiest fucking guy in the world because they asked Terry Reid first, or they wanted Terry Reid, and Terry Reid had just signed a solo deal with Mickey Most, the producer who they all worked with.
All right, well,
and look what happened. I mean, Terry Reid made some good albums, but never to the heights of Led Zeppelin.
Getting back to Dolby Digital is not just the audio; it is the projection. Because Jim and I have attended events at the Dolby has their own little theater that is not open to the public. It's only used for special events on Hollywood Boulevard, and that is amazing. Dolby projection is quite stunning. So it's both the video projection and the audio, and it's not. And what would you call it? It's Dolby. What's the high form of Dolby sound? Surround sound. It's where they can place a sound in any place in the theater.
It's like 30 speakers in the ceiling.
Right. It's crazy. Yeah, like if you hear a raindrop, they could put a raindrop at a certain place in the theater.
Like this.
Okay. Here's a know-it-all. What are you saying? In his opinion, the sound of the London IMAX is not as good as the Olympic Studios. Not sure what it was. Well, I don't know if they have any Dolby Digital theaters in the UK. If you can find one, I promise you. The Dolby Digital experience blows away IMAX big time. It's not even a competition.
It's Atmos.
Atmos, okay.
Thank you, Jose.
All
It's
right,
fucking
yeah. The fact that you added that word before Atmos makes us listen or read.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I actually went to Capitol Records years ago, and I heard in a studio downstairs,
Yeah.
side 2 of Abbey Road, Dolby Atmos in the theater with,
In the
shit all
Capitol,
over it.
in the Capitol Tower.
Downstairs in the basement where
I've been in the
studio.
Capitol Tower studio, but I've never heard like a full record played there.
So it was unbelievable, but it was a gimmick. Why do you need a snare drum above you, behind you?
Well,
it's great
okay.
for a car crash goes over you, but
No, I mean, it's everything. If you hear someone walking down the hall, all that stuff, it creates atmosphere.
for that it's great. But for a band where most of the music is in front of you, and then
okay, you're telling me when we went to that Zappa event and they mixed
that was different.
Zappa,
they mixed it better. I think they mixed it better than they did the Beatles.
Okay, here's a good example. I'm going to do a Mazzy to you, Jim. This is
Okay.
like a Mazzy example. Okay, you really like carrot cake, Jim. You love it, right?
I
So
love
you go to
it.
one restaurant and have their version of carrot cake. Then you go to another restaurant and have their version of carrot cake. That's what you're dealing with. Eventually you're going to determine that one place makes carrot cake the best, right?
I prefer Trader Joe's carrot cake, to be honest with you.
When I renovated San Francisco, I put in a surround system there, and I had a 5.1 then, whatever it was called, and I got a few DVDs. I got I remember the Grateful Dead and everything, and the Crosby. I think David Crosby's If I Only Could Remember My Name came out on a 5.1, and a few others, and they were really neat. But I found after I played it once or twice, I never pulled them out again to listen to. You have to set all that up. However, the one I was most impressed with was a video, and 5.1 was Rings Around the World by Super Furry Animals. It was fucking amazing. But after a while, I realized, and I had a subwoofer, I had the whole, and it was mainly for movies. I loved it for movies. But after a while, for music, all I wanted is 2-channel. And I've heard, Atmos, and I've heard people that have the ceiling speakers and the back speakers, and it's fun. It's a novelty. But to me, I don't need to hear a little ambient thing here and a cowbell behind me and drums. And for music, I just like 2-channel. It doesn't work for me. I mean, it's not as enjoyable. It's not as natural.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question, Mazzy. Because I remember my first experience with CDs, when CDs came on the scene, one of my favorite bands at the time was Chicago. And I got a Chicago record, and I heard something in a song that I had never heard before. Was when I was walking down the street one day.
Does anybody really know what time it is?
Yeah, and there's a part in it where one of the guys whispering
Whispers.
He's saying, "Yeah, I was walking down the street."
You never heard that?
No, until CD. I'd never heard that.
Well, I've heard that on the records from the beginning. I know that part you're talking about. But that's it. Thing is, people say, "Oh, I heard there's things you never heard before. You heard that bass or that whatever." I don't think that's necessarily. It's fine. It's great. But I bet you once you've heard that, now you go listen to the record, you'll hear it now, because sometimes
I have there's a record, a Zappa record live at Fillmore East, and there's a part in it where Howard Kalin or Mark Coleman is introducing Ainsley Dunbar. He's going to go into a little solo, and for 30 or 40 years, I thought he was saying Ichigumi, because Zappa would say something like Ichigumi. That would be something that someone would say live on stage at a Zappa concert. You could get away with saying Ichigumi. But I got the 6-watt little teeny tiny 6-watt deckware amplifier, and I hooked it up to some decent speakers. And for the first time ever, after 30, 40 years, I heard him say Ainsley Dunbar.
Yeah.
Instead of Ichigumi, he said, and if I listen,
Well, hold on.
normally I hear Ichigumi. I don't hear
When
Ainsley
you first heard whatever you heard, were you severely high?
severely. What do you?
Like the highest level of being high?
I could take it back then, though.
But
When you're
but
14,
the same thing happens. I've been at people's houses who have a different setup than I do, not a surround, and I hear something I haven't heard before. And you just sometimes your ears get tuned to it. I think it's fine. It's fun to hear something different, on I'm not even talking about a remix, but sometimes a certain system brings something else out, whatever. Or
I mean, my ears are worse than they were when I was 14.
yeah, but the thing that bothers me.
Stereo.
Now I'm going to criticize some of these threads on the Hoffman forum, which I participate in. I admit, someone will say, "Oh, remember the thing with the Black Fire Tone Poet Warble Gate? That it was warble."
Yeah, I
in the
never
piano.
seemed to be
I never
you,
experienced
Fred
either.
Butter
I know people that have.
Yeah.
And then people will post something and say, "Listen to 3 minutes, 20 seconds, whatever it is." When you listen to it and point out, you go to it, and then you hear it and you can't unhear it. And it's kind of like, if it doesn't hit you naturally, why should like today? In fact, what you just talked about, Jim, there's a bunch of people on the, I guess, the Doors, Rhino Hi-Fi. I don't know if it's Rhino Hi-Fi specifically, but on Strange Days, and someone finally heard something on side 2 I think it's on that song, maybe. I'm not sure which song, but they hear some kind of not dropout or something. And of course, everyone's going and listening for it now, and now it's crazy. But it turns out it's on the original. So it's something that was always there that I've never heard. And of course, now if I think about it and go there, I'll probably hear it and I'll be disappointed. So people point something out, you're going to go listen for it instead of enjoying the music as it is. And, it gets to be silly after a while.
Yeah, but
No,
but
for
again,
me, it was thrilling to hear that. It was unbelievable to hear him say Ainsley Dunbar. He's introducing
but that goes back, Mazzy. That goes back to what level or what aspect of participating in this hobby do you gravitate towards?
Right.
If it is about hearing that kind of thing, then that's it. That's your thing.
I have to say that for me, it's always been about deep listening, just fucking deep listening. Because I like to, there's the drums. Pick things out,
But you're talking about that Ainsley Dunbar thing is because that's like your favorite artist. Me with the Beatles. All of a sudden, I heard Lennon say something in the back that I never heard for 20, 30 years,
And
That's
you
fun.
listen to it 1,000 times.
That's fun. That's like archaeology or something. It's kind of, interesting. But I don't go into it for that. Now, and with any other band, I don't give a shit. Now, I know Vinyl Piper was dumping on Wax for Like in Chicago. The first fucking Chicago Transit Authority album is fantastic. It's a great record.
Look.
It's the second one.
I don't care who you are. Vinyl Piper is a shamer. He's shaming me. Chicago's awesome. You know what?
Well, they became an MOR band.
No. Every aspect of Chicago is awesome. I don't care. Come at me. Hard to say I'm sorry. Their 80s resurgence or whatever you call it, where it basically was just Peter Cetera and David Foster. Awesome.
And David Foster wasn't even a real member.
No, he wasn't a real member of anything, but he practically wrote the best Earth, Wind, and Fire song ever.
He's a great song. He's one of those producer writers, arrangers.
David Foster wrote the best Earth, Wind, and Fire song.
Yeah, he's just bland to me, but he's talented. Yeah.
Oh, so hold on. Look. I'm gonna win. You don't come up on live streams and defend yourself, so I'm winning. Fight me. Chicago's awesome. I don't care who you are.
Bill Champlin was an interesting thing because in '68, when the first Chicago album came out, the first Sons of Champlin album came out on Capitol Records, and I love that. Red San Francisco band with horns. They had vibes, though. They're more jazzy than Chicago. I love that. More psychedelic in a way. And Bill Champlin's got a great soulful voice.
He wrote that song with David Foster, the best.
But it's interesting how I always
Someone
liked
fight
him
me.
more. I thought they were the cooler band, and then what? 10 years, 15 years
Does
later, he joins
Does
Chicago.
anyone want to fight me? After the Love Is Gone, best Earth, Wind, and Fire song. I don't
It
know how
sounds like
many.
movies.
I don't know how many babies were made to
Yeah,
that
it sounds
song.
like music that was in like rom-com soundtracks.
No,
Chicago.
dude, the song came out in the 70s before rom-coms.
There are rom-coms in the 70s.
Name 3.
Love Story.
That's a fucking drama where someone dies.
But it's a love. It's a.
That's not that's not a
He loved
rom-com.
Bach, Beethoven, and the Beatles.
My friend
Hey,
Mike Figman's
hey,
father.
Harold and Maude. Harold
Yeah,
and Maude.
Mazzy,
Rom-com.
we'll grab 3 people who have seen Love Story, and the big thing they remember about it is the big hilarious scene at the end where she dies.
That
Well,
was
she
pretty
dies
funny.
at the beginning, but you know,
Or whatever.
it's a flashback. It's a 2-hour flashback.
Where do I begin?
Harold and Maude, Rob. Harold and Maude.
That's a dark comedy. It's not a rom-com.
It's a rom-comedy.
It's not. It's a dark comedy first.
2001: A
Getaway.
Space
The
Odyssey.
Getaway. No, that's not a rom-com either.
Hal, open the pod door, Hal.
Hey,
That
I'll
was
tell
a
you,
rom-com.
to Jim's point, Terry Kath, how many babies were made to what's the song that Terry Kath sings? What's that slow song that at every dance I went to at camp in the 70s they
Just
played?
You and Me. That one is it?
No, the Terry Kath sings. What
Yeah,
it's that slow
I know
song.
Summer
Plus
42.
Plus the song they did with the Beach Boys.
Yes, Summer
Mazzy,
42. Last Picture Show. BC's got it. Exactly.
that is not a rom-com. It's about an older woman stealing a young boy's virginity. Hey,
that's pretty funny to me.
Hey, Rami and Con.
Hey, wait, what's the song that the Beach Boys did with Chicago? That song's fucking awesome.
They did a song together?
Yeah, they did a song together.
Oh, Color My World. That's the one that Terry
Color
Kath.
My World.
Yeah.
Color My World.
Annie Hall.
How many babies were made to Color My World? How many babies were made
Alex
to
wins.
None of
Annie
them.
Hall. Annie Hall. Every Woody
Annie
Allen
Hall,
movie.
Yeah, but Annie Hall's a romantic comedy, but it's Woody Allen first.
Bananas.
It's a rom-com, baby.
Every Woody Allen movie.
Okay, the rom-com. Hold on. Here, I'm going to type this in the internet. When was the phrase coined? Okay, watch this.
Okay, now
When
you're
was the
changing the
phrase
question.
rom-com coined?
Now you're changing the question like Yacht Rock.
No.
Because Yacht Rock wasn't called Yacht Rock when it came out.
Yeah, but that people don't define when they talk to me. Well, actually, technically, people are saying in 1934 it happened one night.
There you go.
Clark
Can't believe
Gable.
you didn't know that.
Clark Gable.
When people hear, as someone who's the movie guy here, Mazzy, you say this all the time. In my profession, rom-coms kind of refer to like movies that it kind of started with what's her face?
Meg Ryan.
Pretty Woman. It started with Julia Roberts.
Yeah, that's
and it kind of was Sandra Bullock. With the succession, hold on. With the succession of these female stars from the early 90s, that's when the term rom-com became prevalent.
I'm just impressed that Alex is watching this shit in the morning.
Well, he's a fan and a friend. I consider it.
But Bobby Gass and I both saw the Rolling Stones live in 1972. I saw them
I saw that tour. I saw the Winterland show. One of the.
I saw Stevie Wonder open for them. It was unbelievable.
$5.50. I have a photograph of my ticket somewhere. $5.50.
I promise you, if you weren't old enough to make babies, plenty of babies were made to Color My World.
Yeah. Wow. It happened one night. Yeah, that's a good one. What about what's the one? Is it the British film where they meet the same place? I think there was a Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks remake of it. Not very good.
Well, no, I thought the original one was with Jimmy Stewart. Around the corner.
No. It's a Brief Encounter. Brief Encounter.
But Shop Around the Corner is
Brief Encounter. Story. Is that the one where they meet the top of the Empire State Building?
They always meet at the top of the Empire State Building.
Well, Brief Encounter is a great movie. That's one of
Oh,
those
what-
film school they show you in film school.
What about what's the one with Cary Grant?
Well, there's a lot with Cary Grant.
That's
What
the one.
about
That's the one they meet at the top of the Empire State.
Hiroshima Mon Amour?
Yes.
That's a rom-com. What's the one? There's a movie that my son and I would joke about because he saw it in high school. He was in the film department at School of the Arts in San Francisco, and when I was at film school at San Francisco State, there's one movie that they always show you in film school, and we would joke just coincidentally. I said, "Hey Joe, there's a film that they would show us in film school that I always hated," and they said how great it was. And before I even answered, he said, "Oh God, what's the name of it? Last Year at Marienbad." Have you ever seen Last Year at Marienbad? It's a French film, and they're walking around this like castle, this ground, almost like Versailles. I've been here before. We've been here before. It's all in French, and it's one of those. It's great cinema, but I remember seeing it so many times in film school and just hating it because it's
actually. Okay, Vinyl Piper. Usually 90% of what you comment is nonsense. Joe versus a Volcano is a
I like
fucking
that.
awesome movie.
Yeah, I like that movie.
It failed at the box office. It was ridiculed. That movie is excellent. That is an excellent movie.
That's a great playwright. John Patrick Shanley, the playwright,
Shanley wrote and directed
that movie. I studied his plays. It's good.
Joe,
Best movie the last 20, 30 years.
The Volcano.
Does anyone here like or seen Last Year at Marienbad?
No.
Not as such.
Yeah. You're being very San Franciscan obscured.
I've seen Talladega Nights.
That's a famous film,
dude. I went to film school, and we did not watch that film.
Oh, well, you went to shitty film school.
I'm more into Talladega Nights.
Yes, and there's more to learn from Talladega Nights.
The Big Lebowski. 2 favorite films.
Yes.
That's it.
What's that quote from the kids at the table? I'll jump on your head like a...
Yeah. Come at you like a spider monkey.
Spider monkey.
Like a spider. I do prefer the baby Jesus. That's my favorite Jesus is the baby Jesus, the little Einstein.
Okay.
Master. Okay.
Is that... Well, that's not the Blu-ray or DVD of it.
No, this is a book. This is the script.
Hold on. Here's an important thing. I hope you're doing well, Ed. Ed, all you have to do is come to my... I hope you're signed up for my channel. But if you're not, go to... It's already put up on my channel. Come to the auction on Saturday at 1 o'clock, and I explain to it. You already have most of it done. You have a YouTube account. And all you do is to participate is when I show a record and give a price, if you want to bid on it, you just type the price in. It's very easy to do. Even Mazzy can do it.
Yes. Hey, Jeff Myers, if you're talking about you never heard of this, you know one of his movies because you're a super Jew. And he also made Night and Fog, you know, the movie, the documentary.
Hold on. It has nothing to do with his religion. The dude works at
one of the. I know where he works. He works at Alamo Draft
House movie theater chains in the U.S.
Anyway, he made Night and Fog. You probably in Sunday school or probably at Camp Swig they showed Night and Fog. It's a documentary of the Holocaust.
Hold on, we're trashing Mazzy this morning on the program.
I've watched a lot of things and still haven't seen the. Okay, interesting. Well. Now everyone's going to go check it out. Delphina.
Upscare movies for 300, Alex.
You know Alan Renee. Anyway, look him up. Yeah, this is what year was this? 19.
Yeah, Mazzy went to film school in 1923.
1962? I don't know. It might be a 62. I don't know what year.
Hold on. Hold on. The nicest person I've come across around here is this dude right here, and he's bashing the movie you're recommending.
Well, I said it's a movie that I would see in every film school kind of class, history class, and we would all fall asleep because we had the class like at 8 in the morning, large group, like 8 to 9:30 or whatever. And when you're that age, yeah.
So thanks for bringing up such a shitty movie, Maz.
Yeah.
Well, but it's supposedly an important. That was my point. Is I'm not a fan of it, but I need to see it again because I haven't seen it.
Okay, Mazzy, do you respect that list the AFI comes out with almost every year of the top movies?
I mean,
It's
yeah,
never.
and
I've
they're
never
fun.
seen that movie on
They're
any
fun
of
to
them.
quibble about. Yes.
Never seen that movie on any of those.
Well, A Fair to Remember. Didn't I say that? Oh, A Fair to Remember is that the one where they meet at the top of the Empire State Building, John?
Hold on.
I saw that movie.
Chauncey, have you heard about that film?
Have you heard about Last Year at Marienbad?
Oh, there.
I can't believe you got through film school if you haven't, because that's one of those things. Yeah, Night and Fog is a better film, but it's one of those films that they used to show us in Sunday school, and it's hard to watch. That's when they would find the bodies in Auschwitz and Dachau, and it's a frightening film. It's like an hour film. The manual movies, yeah.
It's called. I like the movies. It's called Skinamax, Yvonne. Here in the U.S., Skinamax.
Let's see.
Rumblefish is good. It's part of the trilogy, right? Of all the
Chauncey has heard of it. Okay.
The soundtrack to Rumblefish is unbelievable. Side
Yes.
one is what I used to.
It's a 1961 film. Okay. The French New Wave avant-garde psychological drama directed by Alain Resnais. Reception. Contemporary critical response to the film was polarized. Where the man and woman had actually met last year or not. Yeah, they go around for an hour and a half talking about whether they met the same place the year before. It's
Revenge
surreal.
of the Nerds is awesome.
I like the first Revenge of the
Listen,
it's also
if
the film was included in the 50 worst films of all time in 1978.
Which one?
Last Year at Marienbad.
Yeah, there you go. You're discovering. Horrible movie.
Yeah.
But then another thing, it says it's the 83rd most acclaimed film in history. Kurosawa says it's one of his 100 favorite films.
Yes, you couldn't get away with a lot of the stuff. That movie's fucking awesome.
Okay, anyway, I want someone to go see it and just tell me what they think now, because I'm kind of curious to watch it now. Like, I haven't seen it in 25 years.
Here you go. Again, this dude is the nicest guy around here, and this is his second bashing of the movie comment.
No, but I'm not defending the movie. I agree with him. But I had to study this film and to see it. Like, I probably seen it 6 times.
Hey,
not by choice.
I like to mention, Alan, my aunt is in Repo Man. My aunt, who I have her ashes, she plays Otto's mother. That's my aunt.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yes.
I'm impressed. All right, guys, I got to bail. I'm going to hit the road.
All right. Drive safe.
Take care.
I think the rain's not supposed to be bad until
your aunt is in Repo. My voice is mixed back in I think a restaurant scene or something as a voiceover in a movie called Dead Men Don't Die by
I'm in at least 2 movies.
Norman Mailer.
3.
Norman Mailer directed.
I'm in 3 movies, Mazzy. I'm in, if you want to see 1BR, I have several scenes in 1BR. That actually, the girl from 1BR is becoming really big. She's in that new TV show with, I think it's on Hulu, The Premise or something like that. That's the girl from. And then there's a movie with John Cusack and James Spader that when I was in college, they shot it in Richmond. And I was an extra. And then when I moved to LA, I was sort of an extra in The Last Action Hero in the scene at the police station. So 3 movies.
Did anyone? I finally saw over the last weekend. I saw Nora. and I liked it. Anybody's?
That
I think she
I think
could
that
pull out Best Actress.
well, I think that movie, with all the political fallout from the other films, that one's sort of edging its way up.
You know,
But
it's
you'll
interesting
see
because some of it's kind of cinema verite style, the way it's shot, guerrilla style. But I tell you, you know, every movie gets backlash, or they gets, you know, like the. I know I'm not going to get into the whole Amelia Perez, but I didn't. I enjoyed it. A lot of people like to dump on it,
actually,
but
it's from what I
I didn't know
understand,
all the, you know, I'm not a first Spanish speaker. I didn't know all the controversy. I didn't know about the French director. I didn't know all about that. But as a movie, I kind of enjoyed it. But I liked Honora. I thought she was great in it. And I've been watching interviews, and the way they shot some of those, like going into this Russian restaurant and literally just going in and shooting it, not even permitting it and all that, and getting, I guess they got the talent releases afterwards, and they went in twice. It's interesting. It's a good movie. There's some slapstick stuff. So anyway, Honora is a good movie. And I thought, did you see? Oh, you don't go to movies anymore.
no, I watch movies all the
Right.
time. I just don't go to the theater.
You know, I thought Dune 1 and Dune 2 are the
Yeah,
most
they were.
beautiful movies, but they're snoozers. I don't
Yeah,
think they
that
deserve.
I didn't like
But
either.
they should get art direction and maybe things like that and effects. I mean, they're beautiful, but I don't know. I don't think they're great. It's great cinema, you know. I mean, it's
Like the movie I thought was one of the new movies that was the best I've seen this year is that movie The Thicket with Julianne Lewis and
all right. Which
what's
no
his-
one can watch because no one has that channel.
yeah, no, it's free. It's on Tubi. Tubi
Okay.
is free. You can
To
watch
be or
it.
not to be. Wolfie, I agree with you. I love Where's Papa. Where's Papa is great. George Siegel, Ron,
Yes,
and it's Maud, Harold and Maud. What's her name? You know,
but isn't that directed by Carl Reiner?
Carl Reiner, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Tubi is free, people. Go watch The Thicket. Awesome ass movie.
Norman, is that you, Jeff? People used to. That's a black gay play that turned into a film. I never saw it, but people used to always say that. Norman, is that you? That's one of those bullshit.
Yeah, Tubi is online. I don't know if it's available internationally. The way Tubi started, they got a deal to license films from all the studios, but now they're starting to buy content exclusively for Tubi. The Thicket is a movie that they did that with. But you could stream it in a browser. You could put an app on one of the. I have a Fire Stick. The app's on there. That movie is excellent. It's a Western. Peter Dinklage and Julianne Lewis. It is awesome. I highly recommend that movie. I assume it's available in any country. The Thicket. Someone bought the rights to it somewhere.
Yeah, people are assholes.
You know what, Nicktronic? You have no taste in movies. The movie's fucking awesome.
Which movie?
The Thicket.
The
Movie
Thicket.
is an awesome movie.
I did watch what's it called? The one with Hugh Grant where he and the Mormons and the girls.
How's that? That's supposed to be good.
It is good. It's very much like a drawing room play. A lot of it happens in one room, not all of it, like a centerpiece of it. But it's good. And it's a thriller. It's kind of like, remember that movie that
Heretic.
Yeah, Heretic. You know the movie that they did two of them with the blind guy in the house and the young kids come in and try to rob the blind guy in the house, and he's some kind of
they made the originals good. The sequels kind of become diehardish.
My friend daughter's in that. Jane Levy. You know Jane Levy. She was in a few movies. That's a good movie. It's that type of movie, but it's more of in the dialogue. And Hugh Grant's great as this kind of twisted guy, but the whole Mormon thing is pretty hysterical. It's kind of a dark comedy in a way, but it's good. What else did I watch? I saw Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2.
Because I don't watch the news anymore. I've been watching one of the best TV shows ever produced. Is that show Have Gun Will Travel?
Yeah.
Did you used to watch as a kid? It was a very popular show.
Richard Boone.
But you know who wrote? I think he produced a lot of, but wrote a lot of the
Rod
episodes?
Serling?
No, it's Gene Roddenberry.
Oh, okay. I knew
So
it was
the
like a science guy.
stories are very Star Trek-y, meaning not sci-fi, but I think Gene Roddenberry's main was sort of
Humanity.
humanity and social dilemmas, and you know, a lot. They don't feel it's a Western, but doesn't feel dated.
It
And
doesn't
that
have to
Richard Boone, the Richard Boone is sort of like the ultimate anti-hero kind of guy because he's a hired gun, but he's very refined.
And where is he from? Where did he live? What
San
city did
Francisco. He lived in a hotel in San Francisco.
Have gun, will travel. That was a great theme song. Have gun,
Wait.
will travel.
Hold on.
Is it? Richard
Hold on.
Boone.
Hold on. I'm all for you not liking the movie, but it seems kind of weird that the reason you don't like it is there's something on her face.
The first Red Dawn is great. The remake's terrible.
Well, the remake, you know what they did with the remake, and the remake's not horrible, but you know what they did? They changed the bad guys in post-production.
It's not Russians anymore or whatever.
No, it wasn't Russians. I think it was the Chinese, and they switched it to the North Koreans or something. But the first Red Dawn's great, but I don't know if it was a hit, but it had like the Brat Packy people in it.
Yeah, what's his name?
And someone else here say that The Thicket. Who else has watched The Thicket? It is awesome.
I haven't seen The Thicket.
Have Gun Will Travel. Watch that show.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in 30, 40 years.
Watch it. It is awesome.
What's it on now? What's it? Tubi?
It's on Pluto, which is another free streaming service.
It's on another planet. How can I watch it?
It's a free streaming service called Pluto. You can if you have any streaming device, you can put Pluto on it.
So it's an app.
Richard Boone starred in it, and I think he started playing a heavy, and he played.
He was a heavy in a lot of movies.
Yes, but in this show, he is excellent. The show is
business. I love the business. He had a business card. He was the only Western. The guy had a business card.
Yeah,
well, San Francisco's so upscale.
Remember Stand By Me? They sang the theme song to the show in Stand By Me.
Can you imagine if Clint Eastwood in the spaghetti westerns had a business card to hang out? It would be a whole different thing.
All I'm saying is Pluto. Here you go. George is here. Okay, Tubi and Tubi's owned by Paramount or Viacom.
So it's an app,
So a lot of the stuff they show on there is in their library.
Let's see.
In CBS.
So it's an app, right?
Well, do you have a streaming device, Mazzy?
Yeah, I have an Apple TV.
Yeah, you can put it on there for free. Tubi and Pluto, put it on there for free. You can watch all this stuff. Tubi streamed the Super Bowl for free. So it's a real thing.
How do they do that and get away with it?
No, they have the rights to it. They're starting Tubi between Tubi and Pluto. Tubi is starting to pay for exclusive content, and that Thicket movie is the first. I think one of the first movies they paid for. It's blocked in Europe. Well, you can. All you have to do is get
Tubi.
a VPN, Patrick, in Sweden, and
Tubi.
fake where you're from.
No, I'm looking. It says, doesn't look like you have an app named Tubi. I'm looking for a fucking app, you idiot. Oh, these are. Hold on a second. I shouldn't. I can do this after your show.
Yeah.
But no one really cares what's going on here.
But Pluto has all the Have Gun Will Travel.
Search. Purchase. Okay, apps. There we go. Apps.
Hey, listen, guys. These are free streaming services. It's not like I'm telling you to buy something like Mazzy does.
Tubi.
Tubi's owned by Fox, which is Disney, Danny. Hey, Danny, how about those VCU Rams? Won again last night. How about them? They tried to lose that game, but they won.
All right. I'm downloading Tubi. I feel like a new man.
Watch The Thicket today if you have time.
Oh, no, it's on it. Okay. If anyone have you watched was it 3 or 4 seasons of Hannibal, the TV show?
I watched a couple episodes when it was on.
That is fucking great. And what's weird about it, I can't believe it was on NBC because it's so intense. It's really good. What's his name?
I'm not an old fart.
Not you, but the Hannibal on TV was great cast. Really,
that guy, Maz Macklin. He's one of the best actors.
He's great. And the guy, the English young actor, played Will Graham.
Yeah, he's married to Claire Danes. What's his
Claire
name?
Danes? Yeah, and he's on Law and Order now. Okay, so I got Tubi. What's the other one again?
Pluto.
Pluto.
Pluto's owned by Viacom, CBS, but they have Pluto. Huh?
I don't know the answer. What the fuck? Okay.
Both of those are free streaming, so I've given you content for free.
You've given me. Thank you. You're so good.
I've given you suggestions of free content.
Shit, I get it. Okay, I'll get rid of this.
Everyone, that's how they subsidize. That's why it's free. They all have short blasts of commercials. It's not, you're not like watching 3 minutes of commercials.
You know what's fucked up? I think it's bait and switch, and I know we pay for it a different way because I have Prime, right? Every fucking thing on Prime is now, it seems like, commercialized. I mean, sometimes before.
Okay, Mazzy, let me explain something to you. That's what we're moving back to. We're moving back to what cable was. Right. All these streaming services are going to start offering like a channel guide, like cable. I mean, to watch my college basketball game, I had to stream it on Peacock yesterday.
Right. Why a Peacock? But the problem with Amazon or Prime is their interface is so confusing that they have the purchase stuff mixed in with the other stuff. So you can't just go to the stuff you're paying for, with Prime. You have to seed your, like, as a line of this. And then
you can pay more and not have to watch the
right. Yeah. But then you already, I'm already paying for Prime.
Hey, I haven't watched it yet, but it's on Hulu. So I'm going to watch it on Hulu.
So on this morning's Thursday stream, Rob's stream, I just have now 2 new apps on my Apple TV.
Okay. So here's what you should do. Watch The Thicket on Tubi, and then watch Have Gun Will Travel on.
And then if I'm going to come back next Tuesday and report to you, I hope I like it.
Obviously you are, Rich, because you capitalized it.
Oh, I have to sign in?
Thank you, Mellow Rich.
Now, are you registered?
You can watch it not registered, but it's up to you.
Is that? Oh, that probably saves your.
Here's the deal. If you wanted to remember the shows you've watched, you should register. But either or, it doesn't matter.
I got it. Okay, so it's what's that show called again? The Thicket.
The Thicket is the show on Tubi.
The Thicket.
Yeah, I gotta watch that movie because it's nominated for some Oscars.
Oh, Peter Dinklage. Okay,
it's good, dude. Mazzy, it's good.
Is it a little film? Never mind.
I'd be very surprised if you didn't like it.
Okay, I have it here. I'm gonna wait till. Okay.
Well, only I suppose with like everything else, only Prime members, premium members, know other premium members. You're not going to escape.
I'm not a Pornhub member. Pornhub premium membership? Yeah, I'm not a Pornhub I mean, why be a member when you can watch it for free?
Yeah, right? Well, yeah, it's free. You know that. You don't have
all you need is like 2 minutes of any video.
No, well, I doubt very seriously you need 2 minutes, Mazzy.
Wow. So what's happening on the Jazz World? You're looking at your watch. You're bored already. Is that it?
Oh no, I get notifications. It vibrates on the watch. It's an Apple Watch.
Oh, you have an Apple Watch? Wow, I don't have an Apple Watch.
I do.
I never needed an Apple Watch.
You don't until you get one. You don't see the need to have one.
I think it's great. I know a lot of people that have them. I just doesn't matter.
The Jazz World is going on where they The Jazz Bums have a new video. Okay, I'm gonna be the ranting. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm a big Strata East, which was a label created by Stanley Cowell and Charles Tolliver, right? Charles Tolliver's son, I think, I don't know how long they've been trying to do this, but they're doing a reintroduction of the label, and they're starting off with 4 titles. One is coming out for Record Store Day of Pharoah Sanders. 3 others will be available shortly after there. I pre-ordered 2 of the titles. So they're reintroducing the label in Tone Poet style. They did a Zoom live stream on Tuesday with 4 people that had nothing to do with the label or the reissue campaign. They're doing it with Mac Avenue, who's a kind of indie record label. And the titles I have from Mac Avenue are jazz, but I don't know if Mac Avenue does other types of genres, but I have a few and they're good. In this Zoom live stream, there was no one from Mac Avenue or from the Strata East camp. They just had Michael Fremer and 3 other kind of jazz kind of reviewers, or one person is a kind of very well educated and writer, but none of them were from the label. So I kind of felt like I was just, and Michael Fremer admittedly could only speak to the production of the records. He's not a big knowledge for Strata East. So I kind of felt like, the stream, what is it helping me with? But this morning the Jazz Bums dropped a video with Fremer. I watched part of it and it was good. And here's the kudos to the Jazz Bums, because in the first 5 minutes of your video, Jazz Bums, you gave me more information about Michael Fremer's involvement than Michael Fremer gave on the stupid Zoom.
I didn't watch that whole Zoom. Who was the woman on there who showed up?
Harmony, something or other. Someone can tell me her name,
connection?
but she's written exclusively about Pharoah Sanders and stuff. She knows what she's talking about. But
I
she
didn't
gave her
see any
all these
introduction
people.
with her because she came
I'm
away.
not dissing the Bums. I'm giving them credit, you moron, Rich. Okay, so here's the deal. Nowhere in this Zoom did Fremer come in and go over why he was there. But in 5 minutes of the Jazz Bums, he comes in and goes, "Well, they reached out to me. I'm friendly with blah blah blah," and Joe Harley, because they wanted to do a Tone Poet style. Joe Harley, she wrote some of the. Here's Chris.
Oh, okay.
With the cow.
With the cow sills?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
with
grab
the cow.
I'm
That's
gonna
how
grab
I
another
read it.
coffee. I'm gonna grab another coffee. I'll be right back.
So I'm giving the Jazz Bums way more credit than Fremer himself did in this Zoom. Fremer says that Joe Harley recommended him to the Tollivers, Chris, not the Tollivers. And he came in to help with recommending how they could do a Tone Poet style because Joe works for Blue Note. None of that was in that Zoom session. I don't understand. They had the moderator for that Zoom was useless. It just, all they were doing they weren't staying on a track. They weren't doing anything. But the Jazz Bums fixed it. Hopefully, did you fix it? Because I only watched about 5-10 minutes of your video so far before this stream. So, the people should come on the Jazz Bums. The Tollivers, all of them. The Mac Avenue people need to go on the Jazz Bums. The stupid Zoom thing. It was a horribly done Zoom. Horribly, in my opinion. You clarified everything in 5 minutes that they couldn't do in an hour and a half Zoom. There you go. I'm bashing. That's my rant. Did you watch the Zoom? It was bad. It wasn't good as an introduction to what they're trying to do. It was just 4 people giving their opinion on stuff, and they weren't. And then Frummer, he didn't say how he was involved. They sent him the records, and he said they were great and they sound good and all that stuff, which is his expertise. But then you said he was brought in to document the process of putting out these records, which wasn't said in the Zoom. It was said in. So just say, Chris, yeah, watch our video. It blows away anything else that was done.
Now the guy that hosted, I know him because Nate Chen, he was a columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle for years. I don't know if
And he said he wrote for New York Times or whatever, New York.
He could maybe now. I haven't followed him.
Hey, I don't think they're limited. These are being put out.
But everything is limited. You do a press. They rarely go back to press. People always talk about, well, is Rhino this or is things are limited to a press run. Doesn't mean they're not going to be pressed again.
They're not going to be out of circulation.
Right. But usually what happens is, let's say you print 2,000 copies. When it sells, they're going to probably press something new they're putting out first before repressing something else.
They're probably going to keep them in press.
Well, that's okay.
They're not doing this so 2,000 people can have copies.
What are these selling for? Are these in stores?
Fair price. They're selling for. I'll pull it up right now.
Are they going to be in stores?
I don't know that. Did you ask that question? It wasn't brought up in the fucking Zoom.
I don't know.
Hold on.
What is this?
I'm gonna try and pull up the website here. That's me pulling up the avenue. Okay, let me go here. I'm gonna add that to the stage. Here's the website of the company Mac Avenue, who's reissuing the label. Here they are. So here are the titles they have. This was released as 2 separate records. They're combining it into one. It's Live at Slugs. I have each individual. I have an OG of volume 1 and a reissue of volume 2. This I've already pre-ordered. This I've seen this record go for $250, maybe more. This is an excellent record. Everyone raves about this Charlie Rouse record. So let me click on this and see how much it's going for. $35, Mazzy.
Okay.
So
Elliot said he ordered the Tracy Chapman. Well, isn't it $25? So that must be plus shipping and tax. You could probably get it at a local.
We're not talking about the Tracy Chapman. We're talking about this record right now.
I'm just talking about prices wise, though.
Yeah, but these have like Stoughton jackets, and they're pressed at RTI. So this is equal to a Tone Poet.
$35. That's a good price.
They're mastered by Kevin Gray. It was clarified because these records were reissued by Pure Pleasure years ago, not 100 years ago, and they are digital. These are analog. And Sid Schwartz was one of the guys on that Zoom, so he wrote liner notes.
How's the music on them?
Well, that's up to interpretation, but people rave about this record. It's different.
Have you heard this record? I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it's a little more kind of funky. Charlie Rouse was a Thelonious Monk.
That's why John 6-inch would like it probably because it's funky.
Yeah, because it's a little more funky, electronic-y. But this is solo piano. This one right here.
Are these like early 70s?
Yeah, that's when the label started.
Okay.
And then the Pharoah Sanders is avant-garde free jazzy record. I have this. So, I mean, if they can get the tapes to a lot of the catalog, they have a lot of very desirable records. In fact, I have one of the most rare Strata East records, the Cosmic Twins. That record's hard to find. And I found, a nice sealed copy of it somehow that I won't go into. So these records are $35, well worth it. And if you sign up for the Mac Avenue, they give you a discount code. I think 10 or 15% off. So they're really good. But like I say with every record, stream it. Don't buy it. Stream it first. See if you like it. Which record kicks ass?
Stanley Cup. Tom, we didn't talk about Rachel's show. I don't know if anyone.
Where's Tom? Tom, hold on. Where Tom made a comment about Stanley.
I haven't talked to anyone about that. I don't know.
If you want to know, but here's this. You want to know about Rachel? Sign up for her Patreon. She's doing streaming on her Patreon. There you go. Question answered. Hold on. Let's see what Ellie Cruz is complaining about. It cost me an afternoon of time and $10 in gas to go to the record store and rally. So shipping is a wash. And
Got it.
I
Okay,
get away
I'm just asking.
for an
Just
afternoon.
asking.
What about Mount Pilot?
Okay. I'm just asking. That's fine.
Are there record stores in Mount Pilot?
Okay, you're such a
Hey,
regional
Mazzy,
snob.
You haven't gotten the bad finger yet, have you? Mazzy's not paying attention.
The doc apologized for not being here. So
You know what? No one, Dr. Robert, no one does that. No one does this. Either they come on or they don't come on. You don't have to make excuses.
But we like Dr. Robert.
Right. But he doesn't have to tell me why he won't be there or won't be there. I've invited the world to come on the stream. Hold on. Let me do this.
You haven't invited the world, believe me.
Yeah, I said reach out to me and I'll send you a link.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
Your world.
Chris says the Rouse record's awesome. Hold on. Hold on, Jack. Jack's a good guy. I love the new
I'm getting that. I'm getting that, Jack.
What is that? What is that?
Third Live. That is, they put 2 records out, one at the beginning of the pandemic and one after. And it's with Dave Alvin from the Blasters and all these other things. And they do kind of a bluesy psychedelic thing. They cover everything from the Grateful Dead to East West by Paul Butterfield Blues. They're fucking great live. I saw them live about a year ago in Seattle. They're amazing. Dave Alvin's a great guitar player.
Hey, Billy, do you want to come up here and explain your what's going on with you?
Yeah, we want to see that little new mustache you have.
Yeah,
Billy.
Yes, let me know if you want to come up here, and then I'll.
Yeah, I haven't. Jack, I want to hear that. I think it's on the way to me.
We're probably going another half hour, Billy. I'll text you the thing, and you can come up if you want.
I'm excited. I just want to watch Tubi all day today. No, I got.
I'm telling you, Mazzy, or Pluto.
I have Pluto and Tubi. They're right at the bottom of my app screen.
Yeah, I'm giving you free content. You save your money. He just shaved off his thing, Mazzy.
You shaved off your thing. I'll give the full update. Okay. Well then, yeah. I mean, you look like a Castro clone. They used to call them Castro clones. Do you remember that term? Have you ever heard of that term?
No, I've never heard of that whatsoever.
In the 70s, in the Castro, all the gay guys had those little mustaches. It was like they used to call them Castro clones. Do you remember that, Tom or Sean? Did they have Castro clones down in West Hollywood? It was a thing, and with amongst themselves too. It wasn't just like, you
know. Billy got a shout out on Giles Pearson's BBC show.
Very cool.
Have you noticed British people coming into your shop, Billy? All right, you and Tom are of the same knowledge. I've never heard the term.
They used to. Never mind.
Okay. Can I help everyone with how they should appreciate me? He's thanking me for recommending Tubi.
And I tell you to go watch last year at Marienbad and tell me what you think. 2 hours of a French film where nothing happens.
You know what? Here's the problem with a lot of movies. They become stereotypes of themselves. You know?
I do like the even though they're lighter movies, I do like the Truffaut, like the 400 Blows and Jules and Jim and
I'm going to tell you something. I'm a genre guy. I really do like right now heavily watching spaghetti westerns. I like B movies. I like low budget exploitation, all that stuff. That's kind of my favorite stuff.
Nice. Rich, you seem obsessed with Pornhub today.
Yeah, you know what, Rich? What's the wifey think about your Pornhub habit?
And Bill K, stop writing my name unless you learn how to spell it correctly, please. Thank you.
That's not the right way to with an S, not a Z.
It's Maslov.
Yeah.
Mazzy is different than Maslov, remember? Because if you say Massy, it'd be Massey, like Massey Hall. I don't have TCM, Elliot. I know, I don't know why I don't, but I don't have TCM. I don't have the Criterion channel either.
Well, you know what? Do you have Max?
I do have Max.
So you can access a lot of the Criterion and Max.
Okay,
Actually, TCM, because they're owned by the same company. TCM is in there. Hold on.
Okay.
The Quick and the Dead, I think, is an excellent movie.
I do too.
I think it was maligned for some reason. Obviously, it's an ode to Once Upon a Time in the West, right? But that's a great movie, and I think Sam Raimi
did a great job.
I think it's an excellent movie.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know, but here was the problem, I think, with The Quick and the Dead. It came out not that long after The Unforgiven, and it was Gene Hackman kind of playing the same role, right? I think that's what people might have had issues with.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. He played the same exact part. But I think that was a lot of people's introduction to Russell Crowe was in that film. But if you're a fan of genre movies, Russell Crowe made a bunch of good straight to video action movies in the US in the early 90s.
Okay.
Hey, TCM is the best channel on the face of the earth. You need to get it. Should be simple on one of the major platforms.
You can totally get it, but everything costs. It's $10 here.
Mazzy, you can access it through the Max app. There's TCM in the Max app.
All right, well then I got it.
But here's the one thing that, again, as a fan of genre, TCM used to have this thing called TCM Underground that played very late on Saturday night, and they got rid of it. And they would show very rare some movies that weren't even on video that you couldn't watch anywhere but there. And that's one part that I'm mad they got rid of that.
I tell you, the Apple TV is Apple TV is great. It's just a great interface. I know other people use like the Fire Stick and those kind of things, but Apple TV is like the greatest.
Well,
TV.
I have so I'm going to fight with that. I have a Fire Stick. It's cheaper, and it's Android, so you can manipulate.
That's the problem right there.
So no, you can manipulate it and put things on there you're not supposed to. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, I understand.
Plex is free, and they're sort of turning into like a Tubi. So Plex, there's like 5 of these free streams. We'll come back, Elliot.
Okay, so there's no TCM actually with this, just the contents there. Is that it?
Yeah. It's so and Criterion stuff is in there,
but there's no like, let's see, like TCM. What do you call it? Like section.
Sort of.
Well, like you have movies, you have top 10, you got feature just added. Discover, Black Voices, popular. Oh no, they can't have Black Voices anymore. You can't have DEI kind of content here. That's against American. The American president won't allow that shit. Documentaries, okay.
There's Mazzy with his little political jab.
So there's here TCM 31 Days of Oscar. Well, that's cool.
There you go, man. See, Mazzy found it.
Well, that's just the Oscar packaging, but there's no like TCM.
There's content on there, dude. You can find it.
The problem is with these, you have to know what to look for in a way. Okay, well, there you go.
Okay, again, Rich, do you understand that these comments can say, how do you have an understanding of what movie hour at Old Folks Home is? For you to be able to make a comment like that means you have an understanding of how movie hour works at the Old Folks Home.
Hey, it's John, man. Sorry, I'm losing it. Man watching TV or man holding records, all the same shit. Oh,
Listen,
great.
here's the deal. Mazzy's fascinating in lots of ways. We should
So it's been official. It's been official. RFK was approved. The only Republican that voted no was Mitch McConnell. Too little, too late, Mitch.
Well, all right. Thank you for the political 5 seconds.
What a fuck up, man. This country's in deep shit.
All right, Maz, we're still able to do live streams and talk it the way we want to talk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, see, I didn't know TCM was there either because it's not.
All right. So, Rich, can we chalk this up that this is just another reason to blame your parents? We have lots of reasons. So every reason you're the way you are is because of your parents. And why? And here's another thing, Rich. Why did you stick your parents in an old folks home? That's my question for you.
What does maha mean, Vinyl Buzz? Maha. Is that like ahi? Is that a sushi thing?
It's the way he laughs. It's a strictly Pennsylvania way of laughing.
Got it. I didn't know that. Okay. The Food Channel. Okay.
That food, that I know people did believe this before, but that Guy Fieri guy is really turning into quite a douchebag. I guess he's the poster boy for douchebagness.
Yeah.
You're a unique moron, Rich. Hold on, what are you asking? Doesn't sound like Rob asked Meg, but are you a little respectful of that? Resentful of what? What am I resentful of? I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you something. So Guy Fieri now has a chain of chicken sandwich restaurants. There's one across the street from Amoeba here. It is disgusting. It's like a frozen Tyson's chicken patty on a bun. That place is disgusting. I'm a fan of chicken sandwiches. In fact, I might grab one today. There you go, Tom. Okay, I'm going to tell you my experience. So when I used to test movies, I traveled all the time. I was only in LA like maybe a week a month. So when Guy Fieri started becoming popular, he was from Central California. He had a lot of restaurants in Sacramento. He had this disgusting restaurant there. Their menu was Mazzy, listen to this. I forget the name of the restaurant, but the menu was this: half sushi, half barbecue. It was a sushi barbecue restaurant.
Well, there's a nagi
it didn't do either items well.
Yeah.
It was not good.
That's usually the clue when you mix ethnic foods in one place.
Okay, Rich. There's not a strictly Palestinian chicken restaurant chain. I think the inspiration for this episode came from an Armenian record chain called Zanku. But there's every aspect of Middle Eastern culinary explorations in LA that all make the same type of stuff. There's Israeli, there's Armenian, there's Greek, there's I believe there are Palestinian ones I'm not familiar with. So I think the inspiration for that show was Zanku. They're Armenian. But Chris, a lot of those restaurants that he profiled on the show have closed down. They're not in business anymore.
Here's the thing. My take on chicken and waffles. The concept is great, and I always think, "Oh God, I'm hungry. I want chicken and waffles." Every time there's actually a place here called Fats, which is Fats Chicken, which is actually really good in Seattle. But every time I have chicken and waffles, I feel like I never want to eat it again afterwards. It is so heavy and so much. I'd rather have just one or the other. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. I'm just dealing with something here.
Yeah, Chris. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I'll show these.
Another one of I'm butthurt because I have the ability to not watch a channel. Person decided to make a comment, but he decides to come here and try and what do you call it? Dox me. Good job, dude. Why don't you give me your real name?
Let's give a shout out for the
Yeah,
Zappa
give
fan
me
here.
a shout, dude. Why don't you comment with your real name, please?
Let's give a shout out to
Hold on, Mazzy. Since you have no problem giving out my real name, why don't you tell us your real name? But or just turn off the internet because you don't like me. Congratulations, dude.
Let's give a
You're
shout out to Bill's box, the Zappa guy. He just mentioned this.
Where's Bill?
He
Hey, Bill's a good
mentioned
guy.
this. He mentioned this. Okay, I just got the Quadio of this. Of course,
Why is there a crack in this?
because the PR people didn't pack it. They put like it in an envelope, right? So that's the thing. I hate jewel cases. I think jewel case. I like the cardboard
but
ones.
Mazzy, that's like a surround sound mix of the record, isn't it?
I know, but you can play it in 2 channels. That's the problem with me getting these. And I told them I don't have surround, so I got this Billy Cobham, which is a good record. Jan Hammer's on it, and Lee Sklar, and who's the guitar player on this? Remind me. Is it not Jeff Beck?
What I would have to look at it.
Okay, I gotta remember who's on here. Tommy Bolin, of course, Tommy Bolin.
Yeah, that's it.
And then Aretha live at the Fillmore, again cracked. Now, to me, this is the best one out of the. I love this record.
Oh, yeah.
And I played this on 2 channel. I don't afford, and this sounds amazing.
I need to get that record because his live record is one of the best records ever.
This is a fantastic record. But I have it on vinyl. But I played this here, and this is a great record. This is a great record. The Spinners. This is the one that has
Rubber Band Man.
Games people play. 24. No, it doesn't have that song on here.
What's up, Marty?
Hey guys.
Marty, are you trapped in the wilderness?
I am trapped in the wilderness. Absolutely.
Are you naked and alone?
I'm alone, but I'm not naked. No, I'm about a 5-minute walk from my house.
Oh, and there's a little stream.
Yeah, this is Silver Creek right here.
You look like a Hallmark rom-com.
Yeah. No, it's no trucking today because of the snow. No school. All the schools are shut down. We're just chilling.
How does your work handle that?
You know, my boss is an old school guy, and he's like, get on the road, throw chains if you have to. But today it's just too much, and it's not super slow now, but nothing was pressing, so we just decided to call it a day. And I'm going to be after your stream today. I'm getting my hazardous material endorsement. So I got some online schooling to do. So anyway, I just thought I'd walk down here and show you guys what it's all about here today. So
it's so beautiful. That's like, you look like a postcard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I live in a really cool town. Very cool. In the foothills of the Cascade Mountains.
How much snow are you supposed to get?
Well, I think we're going to get about 6 inches today, and they extended the forecast in through tomorrow. So we probably got about 3 inches right now. It's been going since this morning at about 7 o'clock. So we'll see what happens.
Very picturesque. It would be really cool if you wandered down a little further and found a body.
No bodies around here, I don't think, unless it's a frozen deer or something like that. But yeah. Anyway, carry on, guys.
Nice.
You find when you go on these walks, do you ever find like parts of frozen bodies like coming out of
I just said that. You're horrible at listening.
No bodies.
I'm answering somebody. Somebody texted me.
Yes, your ability to listen to words is bad. But you know what you don't do, Mazzy? You don't dox me. Well, actually, you've done it, but
I
it's
don't
not
really
fair.
doubt you.
So auction this Saturday, is that right, Rob?
At 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
D
Okay.
Solo, and I have lots of good stuff. Here's one record. If no, this is a record everyone should own. If they do not own this record, then this is a nice US pressing of it.
Right on.
John Abercrombie Thomas.
Is that
That'll be-
ECM?
It's ECM, yes.
I just before I got on with you guys, I cleaned Keith Jarrett live ECM. I'm anxious to listen to it.
Which one? Which
I'd say
live
I'd say it has a white. Tell you it has a white cover, but I think all his albums have white covers.
Is it him hunched? Is it him hunched over a piano?
Yes. Yes.
Then that's the one. Yeah, that's Live in Cologne. That's the one you should.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
That's
double
one-
album.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, exciting! I'll listen to that this morning when I get back. I got it for $1. So
I showed earlier. I picked up 3 ECM records, and I think this guy's kind of polarizing. This Jan Garbarek, he's a saxophonist, but this is quite a great record. It is very good.
that's cool.
And this guy right here is a kick-ass bassist. But this is, and he's a really good guitar. This is almost rock. This is almost like a rock album.
Nice.
All right.
Is ECM a good label?
Melinda
Murphy. Hey, Melinda.
Melinda Murphy is temperature shaming you, Marty.
Is she? Hey, Melinda, I watched your yesterday in the truck. I listened to your video on the record cleaner, and boy, for $159, that sounds like a really good deal.
Okay, so I've had that version, and let me tell you the negativeness about it.
Okay.
So basically it's a jewelry. It was made to clean jewelry, right?
Right.
But some people have made these attachments that allow you to clean records in it. Here's the problem with that cleaner, and I guess it depends on the type of attachment you get, but you're having to put way too much distilled water in there. That's the reason the Humming Guru is so good, because you're not using so much water.
Oh,
but
interesting.
You have to fill up those. If there's an attachment to make it shallow or lift or lower the record really into it, but that's the problem I found with it. I was just wasting too much distilled water in there.
Does the Humming Guru have brushes, or is it just sit in the water?
No, it's a ultrasonic cleaner.
It's ultrasonic. It's cavitation. It's not a brush.
Cavitation cleaner. But I can tell you, as someone who's owned that one, it's a great starter. But eventually, you're going to move on to a cleaner because I've started. There's that thing called the vacuum clean. That's not the name.
VacuSuck.
VacuSuck, and I made a kind of. I have a little portable thing. I modified the head to be able to just suck up, because I got like a Lazy Susan and a label cover, and I would scrub the record and then use the vacuum thing to suck off the dirty water.
Yeah.
I started off that way, and then I progressed into this DIY ultrasonic machine, and then I progressed into the Humming Guru. And I can tell you, to benefit from every way I've cleaned records, it's just worth it to get the Humming Guru. That's the one to get to start off with.
All right.
It really, I understand. Like, again, I'm a big proponent of whatever aspect of being a collector of records you like. I'm no one to dispute it. If you like buying a dirty old crusty record and returning it to like new status manually, then the power with you. But people are busy. The Humming Guru is the best way to clean records at an affordable price, but it's still $400.
I've had, I've been really happy with my spin clean. I know that's the very basic in the bottom, but it works pretty good for what you get.
All
it's
those work great. I
plastic.
know Joey here, Joey Callio, does everything handmade. He's got his perfect way of doing it. He loves it. It's a ritual. I'm a lazy son of a bitch. If I didn't get the Humming Guru, if that wasn't there in that price point and that thing, I would probably wouldn't be cleaning records today. And
Uh,
what I know of what it does compared to this, the $150 one, I've seen a couple of people show that. I didn't watch Melinda's video. I will yet, and I'm sure it's fine. But I would rather go up even to the $400, $450, the first Humming Guru. But if I was going to go that far, I'd pay the extra and get the Nova, just because the improvements and the future improvements of fixing the tank. Some people have had leaking issues later on. Not I did. I haven't on mine, on my older one. But the Nova does things. They've improved the problems they had on the first one. Like, it's like a new model. There's always something a little different they figure out. So. You know, and then when people say, "Oh, you got to get the degritter," but that's $3,400. That's a big jump. And it's too much for me to even consider, because as much as because I don't always clean my new records either. I know some of them need cleaning. When they do, I clean them, but I don't clean every new record. Like some people won't even play a record until they clean it. I just don't do that.
Wolfie. So again, when you're using that DIY cleaner, you're pouring in maybe 2-3 cups of water. I mean, hold on, it is inexpensive, but, and I don't imagine, Melinda, you're cleaning as many records as I am. Marty, I will say this: I clean 10 records a day.
Yeah, so it's worth it.
I sell records. But even in that regard, that you're using a lot. And here's another thing: they don't sell you a way of filtering the water each time you clean, because you're going to have to clean, or the Humming Guru filters water after every time you use it.
Oh, really? Oh,
I use about 10. I do about 10 records or so before I switch the water out.
Yeah.
I switch water a lot
The
in
thing
the
is
spin
about
clean.
Melinda, am I right, Melinda? If you're watching still, you don't buy a lot of used records. All your records are usually newer, I think. I know occasionally you'll get a used thing, but
She likes to clean her new records too.
I know that, but they need less cleaning. They probably have dust and paper things.
Well, hold on a second here. If you live in, like, where dirt just gets attracted to the records because of static and whatever, you should clean them. You know?
Distilled water is cheap. I mean, come on, it's like.
Okay, Mazzy. Distilled water, a gallon of distilled water goes from $1 to $3 a gallon.
Right.
Okay. Here's the deal: if you're putting it in this DIY machine, and I was having to buy 2 or 3 of those a month, right? It does add up. Now I don't. I use a gallon of distilled water a month with the Humming Guru.
Right.
I do.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
I don't even use it that much, because you clean more records than I do.
Is that one record at a time, Rob?
Huh?
Does the Humming Guru clean one record at a time? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
But the newest version, which I'm reviewing, which Mazzy has, the Nova, has lots of different settings. So you could clean a record for 6 minutes. You can clean it for 30 seconds. You can filter the water. Yes, you can.
Literally.
But
the
when
thing
the water
you use
is
is
black,
like this, is like this much and that deep, and that's how much water you put in.
Hold on one second, Patrick. When you have the DIY, or you have the Patrick has several cleaners. You have a Claudio, am I wrong, Patrick? How do you clean that water? How do you filter that water? Because those are big. Even with the I'm trying to. Yeah, the degritter's $3,000. Hey, Chance, how do you have $3,000 to buy a degritter? That's my question.
You got to own a record store.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, you're not buying in large numbers. I mean, if you clean like I do, get the Humming Guru. Even I should be owning a degritter, really. But the Nova is like $750. Get the base model. That's my recommendation from my experience.
Yeah, Rob also has to get a hazmat suit to dive into those dead people's attics and shit.
Yeah. But Marty, if you seem to be getting into going to thrift stores and stuff like that.
Yeah,
The records are dirty as shit.
they are.
Yeah, I get a humming guru.
Okay, maybe I'll have to save for that.
Yeah.
And
The humming guru has a noise literally because that's the cavitation. Now I have it
Well,
in my
it's not as loud as the DIY one. I'll
no,
tell you.
but I put it. It's next to my washer dryer in the bathroom downstairs that Rob destroyed when he was here. I turn it on. I close the door, and I'm up playing music, so I don't even hear it. Now, luckily, I have a separate place to close the door, so I don't hear it. Sometimes I forget, when the 10 minutes is over, 8 minutes is over.
Well,
That's
I can
cool.
tell you one thing. I'll tell you this: the DIY is fine. If you have a budget, it's fine. Just you have to figure out a way to filter that water. It doesn't come with a filter.
Yeah, the water in the spin clean, the water gets dirty really quick and use a lot of it. So I swap it out after every like 8 records.
It's like this, Marty. You have what, 4 daughters?
Yep.
Okay. What if you said, okay, you got to take Saturday night bath night. You filled up the tub and they each washed in the same bath water. You wouldn't do that probably.
Not as far as you know.
I don't. From using the DIY, that thing was loud as shit. The humming guru is not that loud. It isn't.
The whole thing is, I know when people say like Audio Geek, and he's right. Use a spin cleat and then use the. I'm lazy. I want to put it in, pour the water in, push the button twice, and walk away. I don't want to do manual labor when it comes to cleaning records. I'm a lazy SOB, cleaning records. That's why the humming guru came at a perfect time for me, because I never clean my collection, and I've done it for 50 years, and I still enjoy the records and the music. So,
yeah. Hey, Mazzy, are you going to that to the record show in Longview on
probably not when I
March?
realized it was over 2 hours to get there, unless
it's like 50 miles north of the Washington-Oregon border.
I've never been there. Yeah, unless it depends on the day, and it depends like usually when Kimbo and I will go together. If he's going and says, "Hey, we might go together," but I'm not planning on it. I'm kind of in a no buy zone right now of views because I have so much to keep up with.
Yeah, I hear that.
So
if you do go, give a shout out and I'll
I
buzz
definitely
up.
will. Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah. When spring hits, I would like to do a video like riding in your cab if that's legal sometimes.
I could probably figure that out. Yeah, it'd be a bumpy ride,
why,
but
it would kind of be like me going in a jet fighter with Tom Cruise on one of his,
don't get your expectations too high.
Hi, little Philly. There's a filling station up here. We're kind of new in town.
I could show you around the truck stop. Yeah. It's getting cold. My fingers are numb.
Now, I have a question. I do have a question for you, Marty. With all the traveling you do, I know you don't do long distance.
I did that for the first couple years when I was a rookie. You got to put in your time over the road, but now I'm a regional driver. Yeah.
Right. And you have to pick up and deliver straight. So it's not like you could stop and go to record stores or thrift stores or something.
There's been time I do some overnight stuff like down into California over to Idaho, and there's been times where I go for a walk in the evening after I checked into a hotel, and I'll find a thrift store or something like that. So I have been able to do that, which is really fun. Breaks up the day, and the hunt is everything.
Yeah.
So I have been able to do that on occasion. It's very difficult with the truck parking. A lot of times you're out by the freeway more, and you got to walk into a town and stuff. But yeah, occasionally, I'll tell you this: every place I park, I look to see what's around me, to see if there's a thrift store or a record shop or something like antique mall, something like that. So yeah, that's and so I often have a small stack of records in the cab with me from a trip somewhere, which is cool. Yeah.
What's this about, Chance? There's apparently a show coming to Spokane.
Hey, PB Thal, I was answering the other Patrick, not you. So PB Thal, the other Patrick Walsh asked me a question, so I wasn't answering you. So I just want to make that succinct.
Yeah. Screw you, Patrick. That's what he's saying.
There's more than one Patrick here today.
Hold on. Marty's trying to find the elusive Oregon whatever.
Sasquatch.
Yeti.
Yes. Yeah.
Morning, guys.
All right. So are you gonna come up tomorrow and have a Valentine's special? That'll be Jazz Bums, I guess, huh?
Yes. Watch the Jazz Bums tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Any questions you have about, go watch their video with Fremer about the Strata
I'm
East.
going to right now.
Yes, watch that. We'll quiz you next time.
Great. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Rob, for hosting.
No
Yeah,
problem.
Rob.
I think I'm
Good to see you
end things
guys.
now.
Yeah.
Well, anybody, thanks for coming by and watching, guys. I'll be back next Tuesday. And watch the
Cool.
Jazz Bums tomorrow night. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Peace out.
Take care.
Thanks,
everyone.
Rob.
Bye-bye. Yeah. See ya.